Tim Kawakami, San Jose Mercury News columnist, has had a lot of things written about Aldon Smith here lately with the 49ers situation. Is there any update here, Tim, on what's going on with the Niners and Aldon Smith?
Not since the last 1,500 words I wrote, I think, the other day. Versus previous to the previous 2,000 words I wrote. No, I think everything's pointed towards April 29 when he has a hearing for 2 felony charges, separate ones. One was a weapons charge. Another was that DUI charge from September, which everybody remembers when he was during the season. I think there's some kind of sense that could be a harsh moment for him. Now, don't know that. It's up to a judge. District attorneys are going to suggest things, but he's been out on his own recognizance since then. He's still on probation from a previous DUI the previous year. So all these things kind of piling up. I think my reporting is that the 49ers are looking at this and saying, from a practical matter, they have no comment. They can do nothing until they know what happens April 29, and there is some bracing in the organization. That's going to be not so good.
Okay, but what happened at the airport in this? I have a bomb. Do we know the full story about?
Don't know. Yeah, don't know. I mean, there's some video, there's some witness accounts. My understanding is that it's going to be very unclear. It may not be a charge, but it's going to play into his behavior. It's going to play into, is this guy under control? And some of that video, if you saw some of it, He does not look like he's under control. He obviously, it escalates very quickly, and this is just part of it. Apparently, there was an argument at the ticket counter at Southwest. There was an argument as he was going in, obviously, with the TSA agent. There was a mention of a bomb, and then the security finds him later, lets him get to the gate. He's eating McDonald's, and that's when the video that we see happened. There's just a pattern here, I guess, is the way you call it. The 49ers have dealt with this in some instances where we haven't even known about it, haven't made headlines. That's the weariness, that's the frustration. The sense is that this is just another thing, and there might be another thing, and there might be another thing, and they've let him go on 8, 10, 12, 14 things. If you let him go on this one, with felony counts over his head, where's his headed beyond that? I just think practically they're tired of him.
Is he a decent kid, Tim?
He's distant from us. I'm not going to go to a court of law and vouch for him. He isn't bad with the media. His teammates seem to like him. They don't say he's the greatest human being in the world. They seem to like him. They sure like what he does when he rushes the quarterback. He's not unpleasant, but he's distant. What I hear is that he has some issues. Certainly, there's some behavioral issues. Might have a problem with authority. Has worked fine with the coaches as far as I'm concerned. They always want to play him. They rushed him back after his treatment stay last year. Got him right back in the lineup. They did not miss a beat with that one. Maybe too fast.
Embarrassing.
So they've accommodated him and accommodated him. I think there's a lot of feeling that that didn't really work. Now did it?
Tim Kawakami of the San Jose Mercury News joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Yeah, at some point, somebody in the organization has to say, this reflects poorly on all of us. You enable this kid. You tried to get him help. At some point, you have to either trade him or just say, look, we're going to let you go. He may come back to haunt you because he's a great athlete, but I think perception-wise, this is embarrassing for the Niners organization.
Absolutely. I mean, it probably was embarrassing a little while ago, Dan, and now it's just kind of being the curtains opening up, and you're seeing how much that they've extended themselves, how much they've crawled out there on that limb, and how unable he is to reward them with any kind of good behavior. I think they've used playing as a reward for him. We'll play. They played him 2 days after his arrest. They put 72 out of 70 snaps in that Indianapolis game. They played him as soon as he got back from rehab after going in after the DUI. They've always used that as the reward. You're in our football family, so we will play you. We will play you because that's what you are to us. I think that might have been backfired on him because now he believes he will play for them no matter what he does. There's no punishment for him because he could go out there on the football field and sack the quarterback. Then you have to, if that isn't working, you have to take that away. And how do you take that away? You say, you're probably not going to play for us in 2014. If everything works out perfectly, there might be a chance he can play in, say, November and December, but there's an NFL suspension pending. There are legal issues that are serious pending immediately. Maybe you just take that off the table. Don't cut him, maybe, because you got the suspension coming. Maybe you just deal with it like that. And then you start the clock over again in 2015.
Where are we with Colin Kaepernick in that story?
Sir sounds blurry. The more we hear about this, the blurrier it sounds. There is a sense in the organization that he's probably not going to get charged, that it was just a weird set of circumstances, that he wasn't in the apartment when the police arrived. Again, that doesn't mean he's for sure innocent. It probably means that he's not going to get charged for anything. A weird thing happened in this weird age of players having lots of money and lots of free time. My sense is that he's their quarterback. They're ready to reward him with a long-term contract. They're just going to tap the brakes on the headlong rush into it. They were really ready to give him a $100 million deal a couple weeks ago. They just had made that decision. Don't have to. They still can franchise tag him next year. So I think maybe this kind of slows that, but they're committed to him. He's their quarterback. You don't replace a Colin Kaepernick. They've got him. He's still young. He's won 4 playoff games already at his age. He's their quarterback. Maybe the $20 million a year doesn't happen right now, but it'll happen next year.
Before I let you go, in the Bay Area, I just see certain things written, or the innuendo is Mark Jackson of the Warriors is coaching for his job.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. Again, they lost Andrew Bogut probably for the playoffs, so that changes the fact, the expectations a little bit, but there's certainly the front office is taking a close look at him and has for several months for a lot of reasons. And we don't know all of them anyway, but 2 assistants have been dispatched in the last few weeks, which is bizarre. Not all on Mark Jackson, but I believe that they're looking at this as there's some weird things going on with his coaching staff. There's some tensions with the front office, particularly with the owner, who doesn't love that they've lost a lot of games that they probably should have won. They've won some games they should have lost, but he's unhappy with some of the home losses they got in January that made them the 6th seed instead of the 4. There's some expectation that he's got to win some games here. I don't know that you can think that he's going to win a series over the Clippers, but they can't. Maybe a sweep would be a problem. Maybe a 5-game loss would be a problem. A lot of other factors, how he deals with the front office through this. It's a weird situation. Hard to say what will keep his job, what won't, but there's no guarantee he's back next season, even after winning 51, even after back-to-back playoff seasons for the first time since the early 90s. It's a more of a personality and get along and dealing with situation than anything else. It's weird. It's hard to quantify, but it's there, no question.
Thank you, Tim. You got certainly a lot to write about there. Hopefully you have enough space in the newspaper to do so.
Just write on the internet. There's endless amounts there.
Thank you, Tim.
You got it.
Tim Kawakami, San Jose Mercury News.